What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. Join Ninja Nation. Be a part of the biggest and best daily baseball show on YouTube. And now, without further ado, here are my Filthiest Pitches of the Day. I'm going to start with Yohan Adon, who had 3 Ks in 6 scoreless innings, giving up 2 hits. He had this slider and changeup. And he faced Braxton Garrett, who had 3 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, and had this elevated 2-seamer, as well as this wicked slider. Tanner Bybee had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had this elevated fastball, curveball, changeup, and slider. And he faced off against Chris Bassett, who had 5 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, but gave up 4 runs, and had this cutter. Dylan Cease had 6 Ks in 4 1/3 innings, which was pretty good, but gave up 8 earned runs, and his ERA is now 4.87. Just not the year we all expected out of Dylan Cease. He did have these nasty sliders. Christopher Sanchez had 6 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, and had these dirty changeups. And he faced Miles Michaelis, who had 3 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 5 runs, and had this 2-seamer and pretty curveball. Bryce Miller had 6 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 3 runs, and had these overpowering fastballs. And he faced Brady Singer, who had 6 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 4 earned runs, and had this sinker and slider mix. Brandon Pfaadt had 5 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had these wicked sweepers as well as his changeup. And he faced Hunter Green, who had 4 Ks in 3 2/3 innings, but gave up 5 earned runs. He definitely could be one of the more frustrating pitchers on the planet right now. When he's on, he has some nasty stuff, including this 99-mile-an-hour heater and these wicked sliders. But inevitably, it seems like hitters are catching up to him right now. I would love to see him really work on his changeup or develop a splitter in the offseason. He needs to be more than just a 2-pitch pitcher. Cole Irvin had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 4 runs, and had this curveball. Kyle Freeland had 3 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, and had this knuckle curve. Cutter Crawford had 7 strikeouts in 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had this fastball and sweeper. He battled Lance Lynn, who only had 1 K in 6 innings, giving up 3 earned runs, and that K was on this fastball. Mitch Keller had a solid outing with 6 strikeouts in 8 innings, giving up no runs, and had this elevated fastball and nasty cutter. And he faced off against Kyle Hendricks, who had 4 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had this changeup. Sonny Gray had 4 Ks in 7 innings, giving up 1 run, and had these 6 sweepers. Look at this one that had 18 inches of horizontal break. Filthy. And here's a great overlay that shows you why Sonny Gray gets so many bad swings out of the zone. It's an overlay of a 2-seamer that catches the zone, as well as the sweeper that is well out of the zone. And look how these pitches tunnel and then head off quickly in different directions. Sonny Gray is a master at this. Gray outdueled Dane Dunning, who had 6 strikeouts in 4 innings, giving up 4 runs, and had these 2-seamers that no one seems to be all that happy with, but they honestly weren't too bad of calls. Framber Valdez was outstanding with 6 strikeouts and 7 no-hit innings, but had 5 walks. He had this filthy slow curveball. Look at Cabrera's face on this. As well as these nasty changeups, including this one where everyone whiffs. He battled Matt Manning, who was also really good, with 3 Ks in 6 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 run on 1 hit, and had this slider. Brandon Woodruff was undoubtedly one of yesterday's filthiest starting pitchers. He had 11 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up only 1 run. He dominated with his fastballs, including this painted fastball, and had this slider for a sword, as well as these nasty changeups. And when Woodruff is on, he's definitely one of the best pitchers in the major leagues. He outdueled Yu Darvish, who had 3 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 5 earned runs, and had this splitter. The best strikeout matchup from yesterday was Gerrit Cole versus Zach Eflin. Gerrit Cole had 11 Ks in 7 2/3 innings, giving up 1 earned run, and dominated with his upper 90s fastballs, his sliders, picked up a sword on one, and these knuckle curves. An excellent outing by Gerrit Cole, and he battled Zach Eflin, who had 11 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs on 7 hits. Eflin had these fastballs, including this painted sinker, as well as his cutter, his curveball, and his new sweepers. Here's an overlay of Eflin's curveball and sweeper, and you can see how the movement is vastly different despite those pitches having almost the same velo. Filthy stuff from Zach Eflin. My co-filthiest starting pitcher of the day yesterday was Kodai Senga. Senga had these blazing fastballs, including this elevated fastball. It was called a strike on Shohei, and Shohei respectfully disagreed. Check out that face. As an aside, my daughter, who doesn't follow baseball not one bit, sent me this text out of the blue yesterday. And this shows you how much Shohei is growing the game. I quickly texted Shohei to let him know of this offer. I mean, a free haircut? Just kidding, I had to disappoint her and let her know I don't know Shohei. But now on to the real good stuff. Kodai Senga put on a Ghost Fork show yesterday. He had an amazing 15 whiffs out of 18 swings on the Ghost Fork. An 83% whiff rate for the game. And he has almost a 60% whiff rate on the Ghost Fork for the season. It's got the highest whiff rate in baseball of any pitch over 200 pitches thrown this year. And just look at these disgusting pitches. Here's an overlay of his Ghost Fork with his fastball, and you can see why that gives hitters headaches. Senga now has an ERA on the season of 3.17 and is fifth in the NL in ERA. In a year where the Mets had Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, Kodai Senga arose as the one true ace. Senga battled Patrick Sandoval, who is also really good, with 7 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up 2 hits and only 1 run, and had these fastballs, changeups, curveballs, and sliders. Logan Webb only had 1 K in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 5 earned runs, and got his K on this changeup, and he battled yesterday's other filthiest starting pitcher of the day, Spencer Strider. Quadzilla had 9 Ks in 7 innings, giving up only 1 run. He, of course, relied on his upper 90s fastballs, these wicked sliders, and look at this sick changeup. Here's an overlay of his fastball and slider, and you can see why he can dominate a lineup with just 2 pitches even. They tunnel really well, and you're left to guess, and if you guess wrong, you're going to look stupid. And even if you guess right, guessing right on a fastball, you're probably going to be in trouble too. Because his fastball's got a 30% whiff rate, and that slider an amazing 58% whiff rate. And to make matters worse for hitters, here's an overlay of his fastball and changeup, and it shows when his changeup is on, it's over. Spencer Strider is now second in the NL Cy Young race. And I made this little campaign slogan for him, since he says himself he looks like he should be in Tombstone. When it comes to the Cy Young, Spencer Strider is your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Now on to my filthiest relievers. Felix Bautista had this 102-mile-an-hour laser, but then left the game with right arm discomfort. I'm going to start a Ninja Nation prayer circle to make sure that Felix Bautista is okay. He's one of my favorite pitchers to watch in the game. Sean Newcomb had this dirty curveball. Reynaldo Lopez had this 99-mile-an-hour heater. Shintaro Fujinami had this 94-mile-an-hour flaming splitter, as well as this 100-mile-an-hour diesel. Brusdar Graterol had these 100-mile-an-hour sinkers and stairs. Jeff Hoffman had these sliders. Raisel Iglesias had this nasty changeup and slider. Evan Phillips had this fastball and wicked sweeper. Trevor Stephan had this dirty splitter. Andres Munoz had this sick 98-mile-an-hour two-seamer. And my filthiest reliever of the day yesterday was Abner Uribe for these fastballs at 99 and 100 miles an hour, as well as this wicked slider, quickly becoming a Ninja favorite. And now, my pitching Ninja moment of Zen. Oh man, does this ever sum up the Mets season? They turned this double play, and nobody knew there were 3 outs. Look at Kodai Senga's face walking off the field.
The Mets have no idea how many outs there are.
It kind of reminded me of this clip of Casey Stengel from the early Mets.
Terrific.
Bless their
I
cotton
even have to
socks.
stop and look at it. I think I made 15 mistakes this year reading the placards instead of watching the pitcher or watching the hitter to take my men out. Now I'll have to say another thing about it. They're sticking with us. We've got them from the babies up. As soon as the kid could talk, he started to say Metsy, Metsy, not Papa, not Mama, Metsy, Metsy, Metsy.
What is up, everybody? My picks of the day today are a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to start with Max Fried for 6 Ks or more, and take Eury Perez for 6 Ks or more, and top it off with Kyle Bradish for 7 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?